Sonny. I never thought the path that God gives us, He gave me a path that I'm so thankful for, to run across and meet with Him years ago. What a ride it's been. The memories of Sonny live in me forever, with Eric and Neil. Sonny was hardcore man. He was
Definition of man.
Cajun, Louisiana. You know, I mean, he was a great debater. You never want to debate with your dad. And you know, Sonny was such a great guy. He was so hardworking, and even though we never really understood, and I think that was one of the things that I had always argued about Sonny, because we would do things our way that made all the sense in the world, and Sonny would do it his way that never made any sense to us. I think that's where we got so frustrated with it all. But I'll never forget, you know, I mean, when I look back at all the stories that Sonny would tell, I mean, he had the gift of candor. And regardless if you didn't want to talk, you were going to be listening. That was what I really loved about Sonny. You know, we spent many a days camping and fishing, and, you know, when I first met Sonny, it was over at Maxine Circle. And I was fortunate enough to meet Debbie's father, Red, they called him. And I went over there, and I was looking for an apartment, it was for rent, and I ran across Red. And nobody was around, I was just looking at it, and Red said, well, come on inside, you know, we'll have a cold beer. Well, and it was several cold beers. I had a hard time walking out of there, and Sonny had showed up, and you know, what a great experience that was. I mean, and that was the path that God was going to change my life. And, you know, I ended up moving upstairs. I got the apartment. And then Sonny was working. I can't remember if one of your brothers was there at the time.
Randy.
Was it Randy?
Yeah.
You know, I know Randy was there, and David was there, and Lenny, you know, Sonny's brothers. I met them all. And then Eric and Neil and Ashley showed up. And it was amazing that Sonny didn't have a car. And he rode this bicycle. He had a little basket on the front.
No way.
And I remember he would be like, well, I'm going to ride my bicycle. And Maxine Circle was over there by the drive-thru. And he's going, I've got coupons. You buy one, get one free. I'll never forget it. And he would ride that bicycle all the way over to Smith's, which was over there by the Atlantis. And I was going, wow, man, that's hardcore. You know, and he would come back, you know, have his food, and, you know, I mean, that was, Sonny was going to get it done.
That's who we are,
And it was amazing that eventually, you know, he got his license, and he bought this old station wagon. Eric and Neil called it the pickle. You know, I mean, this thing was a bomb. I mean, it was 10 tons of steel, you know, but they loved it, you know, and Sonny didn't care. As we all know Sonny, he wasn't afraid to say what was on his mind, that was for sure. But, you know, growing up through the years, and with my son and Cameron and Sonny, they had a great relationship, and Sonny enjoyed fishing and hunting, and, you know, I wasn't much of a hunter, but I wasn't going to deny my son Cameron from it. So Sonny took that department, and, you know, let Sonny get his hunting license and got him into hunting. But I just know that, you know, I was telling Lou and Sue that, you know, today is a celebration of life, as Neil was saying, and with time being passed, I mean, it's still painful. I mean, Sonny was my best friend, and we'd gone through so many stories and so many different things in my life, and I'll tell you all later of some of the stories. But you know, this is to celebrate Sonny. And when Sonny passed away, I mean, because I had God in me, and I have Christ in my life, I'd never felt such a joy to know that he's going to heaven, and that he's not going to suffer through this pain of trying to struggle for breath. I watched that with my mother, and I was overjoyed to know that Sonny was so afraid of dying that way. And God decided to have different plans for him that we all didn't realize was going to happen. But, you know, I'm just so thankful that Sonny's there in heaven today, and, you know, he's getting it all prepared for me when I show up, and for Eric and Neil and everybody that knows him. You know, the hunting trips that we're going to have up there with Eric and his dad, the fishing trips that I'm going to have.
I'll bring the bait.
It's going to be amazing, you know. But I love Sonny. I missed him. And I will always be his dear friend. I can't thank him enough for the memories.
He loved you, Larry Blair. Oh, yeah.
And the stories, you know, that we had. There was one story, we were fishing in a lake called Sawmill. And it was me and Sonny and Cameron. And Cameron was like 6 years old. And he catches his first fish. And he gets him in. Sonny's, you know, he doesn't buy the regular little stringers. He's got like a 12-foot stringer. And so Cameron puts the fish on there, and he takes it and he throws it out into the water, and he didn't have it tied off. And Cameron's crying. You know, he's 6 years old. And I'll never forget it. You know, Sonny looks at me and he says, "Well, Blair, looks like you're going swimming." And, you know, sure enough, you know, I'm down, I dive in and get the water. But, you know, that was such a great moment. And Sonny would always call me Blair. And, you know, it was all those times of things, you know, that Blair, it looks like you're going to be doing this, you know, from the mistakes. And, you know, it was such great, good memories of fishing with Sonny and in the Truckee or up in Antelope or Bowman or wherever we were at. You know, it was always such great joy to be around with him, because he was always talking. You know?
Yeah.
Sonny, the only time he wasn't talking when he was sleeping. You know, and I would go over to Sonny's house, and it's like, okay, you know, we all know this. It's like, okay, let me see, if I go over to Sonny's, you know, for 45 minutes, it's going to take me 45 minutes, you know, to prepare to try to get ready to leave. So the minute that you see Sonny, you're thinking of your exit strategy. You know, it was never did you go to Sonny's and it's like, you know, I'm just going to go drop this off or stop by and say hi. You know, it was always like an hour and a half later, 2 hours later, you know. And it's like, Sonny, look, I got to go. It's 11 o'clock at night, you know. I couldn't hear at 5. And we all just, you know, that was Sonny Tastet, you know. And what a guy he was. And, you know, he was frustrating, that was for sure. But, you know, in the end, Sonny had a huge heart.
Yes, he did.
And, you know, he cared about a lot of things in all of us, you know, and he would be glad today to know that we can come here and let's celebrate and have fun today, knowing that he had a huge impact on all of our lives. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Larry.